Hi, my name is Michael. Welcome to Learning Lightroom, a channel on YouTube focusing on the Lightroom environment by Adobe to manage and edit your images. If you want to follow us, please subscribe to our channel, and you can also find us on Facebook as Learning Lightroom. And in case you have questions and want to get into discussing the options you have with Lightroom, we also have a group called Lightroom Help Group for Beginners. Feel free to join us over there as well. So let's have a first look at Adobe Lightroom. And we installed both versions that are available, the Adobe Lightroom Classic CC application and the Adobe Lightroom CC application. So there's two different versions of Lightroom, and it's important that you know which of them you are using. Adobe Lightroom Classic CC is the version that is desktop based, and that is based on the older versions of Lightroom back to 2007, 2008. So this is the old Lightroom that most people will be talking about. Adobe Lightroom CC is a very new version of Lightroom that is mostly cloud-based. So your images will not get stored locally, they will be stored in the cloud, and you can access them from all kind of devices. If it's your phone, if it's a tablet, or you can actually even go to them from any web browser. This is the rather new approach based on the Adobe Lightroom mobile versions we have seen in the recent years. But for this part of the series, we are going to look mainly at the Lightroom Classic CC version. So if you're using Lightroom CC, please be a bit patient. If you don't find the videos yet, we will have a look at this version later in detail. Lightroom Classic CC. Let's start the application. And this is how Lightroom CC should look like for you if you have started Lightroom for the very first time. So as we are in Lightroom Classic CC for the very first time, let's have a look around. In the center, we find a big part of the window. This is going to be our main window where our images are going to be seen. On the left side, we have a pane with different options: Navigator, Catalog, Folders, Collections, Publish Services. We'll look around, and these are going to change depending on where we are in Lightroom. On the right side, the same. There is another pane. And on the top, we have modules. The modules in Lightroom are the different kind of functions that Lightroom offers. The first part is the library. The library right now contains no images, so this is going to be changed soon when we start importing our first images. The second module of Lightroom is the Develop module. That's where we are going to take our raw images and make the best out of them. And then we have several other modules that offer functions that many users might not use, but some will like very much. We have a map that sorts your images by wherever you shot them. We have the book module that helps you design photo books. We have a slideshow module that helps you to present images, a print module that prepares images if you want to print them, and a web module that lets you share images online with other people. We'll have a look at all those modules later. The first couple of videos will be mainly focused around the library and the Develop module. Those are the two modules that you have to use to make Lightroom actually your image management system. Without those two modules, Lightroom does not really fulfill its purpose. So these are the ones we are going to focus on the most. So now let's start to fill our Lightroom with some content. And the first thing we have to do is to import images. Now in the import screen, we can see three areas there's select a source. Where are my images coming from? Then we have the main area again, and then we have the target of our images. I have put a couple of my images onto my desktop in a folder called My Photos. And these are the images I want to import now. So as soon as I choose a folder that contains images that Lightroom can read, it will show the images in the main window. And automatically all photos are being checked. I can also decide to check manually if I don't want to import all photos. But usually I would recommend to import all photos and then deal with them in Lightroom, sort them out, delete the bad ones that you don't want to keep. But first of all, import all your photos. You can also check all, uncheck all. You can also have a look at the images in a larger size, one by one, but we'll stay in this grid view. On the top, we have 4 options how we want to import them. We can make a copy of the files. We can make a copy of the files, but at the same time turn them into DNG files, which is Adobe's own RAW format. Usually I'm not doing that. There's reasons to do that or not. This is a whole different story. I keep my images in the format I shot them at, so I just copy images. I can also move the images, which is the same as moving them from my photos on the desktop folder, as I have them now, into a different type of folder. This might come in handy if you want to reorganize a whole library of existing images. But we might have to look at that separately. And I can also decide to add the images. And you might have noted on the right side, this folder structure that was here disappears when I choose Add. Obviously, because Add just means I import the images at their current locations. The typical way to import images would probably be copy if you import images directly from a flash card or from a camera, or move if you decide, like I did, to first copy over the images to a separate folder on your desktop or on your computer, and now I'm going to move them into a folder structure. On the right side I can now choose a destination, which will be my external SSD, and I'm choosing the LR Tutorials folder as my main folder for the images that I'm going to import now. So these images now will be moved from the desktop folder into this subfolder. I can also choose to organize the images within my image folder into a date-based system. And what I usually do is have a multi-layered system with a main folder for the year, secondary folder for the month, and the last folder will be for the day. So in the end, I will have all images from June in folders below this one, all images from 2015 in one main folder below this one. So this is the structure I typically use, and there's good reason for that. So maybe if you don't know why you would choose something different, this might be a good way to start your library. We also have a couple of other options on the top of the import. We can apply changes to the images right away. We can rename files if we want to do that at the import. And there's a couple of other options in the file handling that we are going to look at in a separate video. Now, we keep all the settings as they are in the standard, with the exception of choosing our own folder structure. And when we are done, we click Import, and Now we are seeing a progress bar on the top left, and step by step our images are appearing in the main window in our library module. So let's have a look. This is done, and we can see the 35 images we have just imported. So now let's have a look around again. We can see now we have our catalog filled with 35 images. This is also our previous import. This is always showing the last images that we imported. And in the folders part, we are now seeing our folder structure from 2015, June 23rd. So these are the images in our folder structure reflected in Lightroom. But now please pay attention, because this is one thing that goes wrong for many people. We have pressed the import button, and this sometimes leads to people believing that these images are actually in Lightroom. And this is completely wrong. Lightroom does not store your images. Let me just repeat that. Lightroom does not store your images. Lightroom only remembers where your images are. So whenever you do a backup, if you only back up your Lightroom catalog, your images will be lost, because Lightroom does not store your images. Did I say that again? Okay. I hope everybody has heard the message now. So please, if you do backups, do not only back up Lightroom, also back up your images. Let us just check out in Finder. Here our images in the folder structure on our SSD drive. So these are the images we imported into Lightroom, but actually only stored where they are located. And let me just prove that if I quickly make a change to this image, let's just overdo something. And now, this is image 9986. Let's check how that image looks like on our drive. It looks still the same as before. It's still at the status of June 23rd, 2015 when I shot it. Because everything I do in Lightroom, I just do on the preview files that Lightroom generates. We never work on our actual images. But Lightroom not storing our images and not actually working on our images is also one of the big advantages. Because everything I screwed up in this image is totally virtual. It did not change a single bit of my image file. So whenever I want to, I can just press the reset button and go back to how the image looked like when I shot it. So now that we are back to the images as we shot it, we can actually do some changes to the images. Just to give us a look at how we might process it. So everything we've done here in the develop module now is still all virtual. The image still looks the same as before on the hard drive. And that also means whenever we want to save our changes, we actually don't save them. Lightroom automatically saves everything we do to our images, but only within its catalog, and we cannot save images, but we can export images. And the export is the opposite of the import. One is to get images into our Lightroom system, the other is to get whatever we've done out of the Lightroom system again. So if we want to share images on the internet or with our customers, we have to use the export button to actually turn our changes that we've made into a new image. And we can now define where we want to put our images. I'll be putting them into my photos folder, into the London subfolder. That is now empty because we've moved all the images out of there. And I am now going to save the image as a JPEG file with a quality of 100% in the sRGB color space that is the best for internet viewing. We will have a closer look at all the settings in the export window in a different video as well. Let's just now try to export one single image. And again, we have a progress bar on the top. That is now finished. And we check out. The original image is obviously still here. But we can now also see in our London folder, there's the image that we just exported. And as you can see now, this is the image as we edited. And now we have a final result of what we've done in Lightroom. And this one we can now share or send to customers, upload to Facebook, or whatever we want to do with them. So these are the most important things you have to understand to start working with Lightroom. Import images that you want to look at, edit, choose, and whenever you're finished with one of the images, you can export that image. Obviously, we will be able to do all of that for many images at the same time or within a short period, and this is going to be one of our next videos. For the first video, I think this is enough. I hope this helps you understand how Lightroom works and how you can make Lightroom work for you. I hope to see you again in one of the future videos that I'm going to upload in the next couple of weeks. And as we said at the start, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and feel free to follow us on Facebook and join our Facebook group, Lightroom Help Group for Beginners. Hope to see you soon. I hope to see you soon on this channel or on Facebook. Bye.